You're listening to the Study Legal English podcast, the world's first legal English podcast, helping lawyers and law students become fluent in legal English. Hello and welcome to episode 13 of the Study Legal English podcast. I am your host Louise, and in today's episode, the penultimate episode of the Study Legal English Networking for Lawyers course, I'll be discussing how to maintain a relationship with someone you met at a legal networking event. So, let's get started. Once the networking event is over and done with, you've passed the initial post-conference follow-up, successfully connected on LinkedIn, maybe even had a meeting with your new acquaintance. Then what? Time rushes past as you get bogged down by work. You're in a perpetual state of catching up with the 1,000,001 things you already don't have time to do. This makes it difficult to maintain new and old relationships. So why add another thing to your list? Maintaining relationships is essential for any lawyer because if it is done well, it can build trust and can generate work. In today's episode, we'll hear two short dialogues. One is about maintaining relationships on the phone, and the other focuses on LinkedIn. Let's listen to the first dialogue. We'll hear from John, the lawyer from MMBR law firm, who leaves a message with Rachel, the co-director at Prime Property, in order to maintain his relationship with her. First, we'll hear the dialogue at a slow pace.
Hello, you're through to Rachel Allen at Prime Property. I'm sorry I can't take your call right now. Please leave your name and number and I'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Hi Rachel, it's John Packford from MMBR. Just a quick message to follow up with you. I sent you over the information you requested, so please let me know if you have any further questions. I also wanted to give you a heads up about a conference that's happening in London next week, which I'm going to. It could be interesting for you as well. Anyway, I included some information in that email as well. All the best for now, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye.
John chose to follow up using the phone. He mentioned that he had sent Rachel some information and that a conference was going to take place that Rachel might be interested in attending. Other ways to connect are via email, a newsletter, social media such as Twitter and LinkedIn. Each way has its pros and cons. For example, a phone call is more personal than a newsletter, which can be quite generic. However, a newsletter allows you to connect with many people, whereas a phone call only allows you to connect with one person at a time. Now, let's turn to Dialogue 2. We'll hear from Brian, the trainee at MMBR law firm, and John, a partner at the firm. They're discussing Brian's LinkedIn profile. As you listen, pay attention to the things John mentions, which are important in a LinkedIn profile.
Brian, it's very important that you update your LinkedIn profile. It's a great way to connect with people from the conference.
Okay, yes, I have a profile, but it's a bit out of date.
Yes, so it's important to update your headline. You need to update your job description to state what you're doing as a trainee, especially now that you know the departments that you'll be working in. I can see that you haven't got many skills. You should update those, especially including the contract drafting, and hopefully you'll get endorsed by the clients. I also recommend that you update your profile picture to the one we use on the company website. It's far more professional. And you can actually link to our website too. Susan will explain how you can do that.
Okay, I'll get that done this week.
Okay, so now that we've listened to the dialogue, let's discuss some of the things it mentioned. John mentions the importance of having a good LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn is the largest professional media platform for professionals, including lawyers. It acts as an online CV, as well as offering an excellent way to connect with people. So, what should you include in your profile? One of the first things John mentions was the headline. The headline refers to the words which appear directly below your name and profile picture in LinkedIn. It's important to customize it to include your key skills, position, and company, including keywords to make it stand out. So, for example, instead of simply saying lawyer at MMBR law firm, you could write something like senior lawyer at MMBR LLP, specializing in real estate law. The next important aspect is your summary. This tells people who you are and what you are interested in, what your expertise is, and the experience you have. Here, instead of simply copying your headline, you can write something like, I help international clients in all their legal property matters, providing legal advice and support throughout the acquisition, construction, and development process. You can go on to include your expertise and specific experience. The second thing that John mentions is job description. Here, you must provide details of what you did or are doing in your current and previous jobs. For both past and present work, you can use verbs in the gerund. For example, for a past position, you could say, managing property files including strategic land acquisitions, large-scale developments, the acquisitions and management of real estate portfolios, and other landlord and tenant matters. For a current position, you could say, taking initial instructions from international clients for sale and purchase of residential and commercial property. John goes on to talk about skills. Some of the top skills for lawyers include oral and written communication, customer service, analytical and logical reasoning, teamwork, organisation and time management, and legal compliance. Other parts of the LinkedIn profile that you should complete are your industry and location. Make sure you keep your current position up to date. Include your education, a link to your firm's website, and have a professional photo. Once your profile is complete, you can use LinkedIn to connect. One important way is when you add a new connection. Here, make sure you write a personal message such as, "It was great to meet you at the networking event last week. Let's connect on LinkedIn." You can make reference to your meeting such as, "I remember you mentioned your firm was experiencing some problems with Brexit. Here is a link to an article I recently wrote which could be helpful for you." And to keep your conversation going, you could ask an open question. For example, what did you think of the conference? Which talks did you find the most interesting? Once you are connected, you can connect on a regular basis in many ways. You can ask relevant questions, post articles, join groups, and like and comment on other people's posts. And finally, here are some final tips. Remember, at the very least, to have a good LinkedIn profile, you should fill in the headline, summary, job description, skills, and upload a professional photo. Use keywords throughout your profile to help you connect to the correct people. Make sure your English is correct. In particular, use action verbs in your job description, especially in the gerund, and get your profile proofread by a native English speaker. To make your profile stand out, you should fill out the other sections, including a link to your firm's website, and try to get endorsements for your skills from your connections. Once your profile is up and running, connect to your acquaintances with personal, relevant messages. Remember to keep your profile up to date and to reconnect with your connections on a regular basis. So that's the end of today's episode, where we've discussed different ways to maintain relationships. For more practice, Podcast Pro members can access online learning materials, including transcripts of the shows and quizzes to test your knowledge. If you're not a member yet, you can sign up for a free trial at www.studylegalenglish.com. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with others. And if you have any feedback or topic requests, I would love to hear from you. You can get in touch by email info@studylegalenglish.com or on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks for listening and see you next time.